This video is about the GoPro MAX, and we're going to talk about three things. Number one, we're going to look at actual sample files, photos and videos from the GoPro MAX. Photos and videos that you've never seen before. Number two, we're going to talk about the GoPro MAX's workflow. In particular, we're going to focus on real-time stitching. What are its limits and what can it do and what can it not do? And number three, I'm going to talk about a new camera announcement that you're definitely going to want to hear. Now, I've already made several videos about the GoPro MAX, but this video answers the most important question about the MAX, which is, does it solve the biggest problem of 360 cameras, which is the workflow? I now have actual files from the GoPro MAX, both photos and videos, thanks to Luke Bell. Luke is a videographer and photographer based in South Africa. Go check out his YouTube page. First, a little bit of background why this topic is so important. Like 360 cameras are really amazing. They have amazing stabilization. You can capture a third-person view that looks like there's a flying camera. And you can shoot without aiming, which lets you focus on whatever you're doing or just being with your family and friends. Even though 360 cameras have a lot of advantages, they do have a more complicated workflow. When you take a 360 photo or video, you're actually taking at least two, if not more, photos and videos at the same time. One from the front lens and one from the rear lens. So you have to combine them first. For videos, it's a lot harder to find this capability. There are some that can do it, such as the Ricoh Theta and Garmin Verb. Even the old Nikon Key Mission could do it. But when you got this real-time stitched video, there was no stabilization. And stabilization is one of the most important features of a 360 camera. So without stabilization, it really makes it much less useful. So the holy grail of 360 cameras has been real-time stitching with stabilization. Now, until recently, the only cameras that have had that capability have been cameras that have cost $2,500 or more. Now, GoPro is promising to make this capability available in a camera as low as $500 in the GoPro MAX. Now the question is, does it deliver? We're going to look at actual sample files from the GoPro MAX so we'll know whether it has real-time stitching with stabilization. MAX takes three kinds of photos: a non-360 photo, a non-360 panorama, and a 360 panorama. So here's a sample panorama, and you can see that it's in JPEG format and you can use it straight out of the camera. Now, what about 360 photos? Here's a 360 photo from the GoPro MAX, and you can see that it is also stitched in 360 mode, and it's in standard equirectangular 360 format. So you can upload this photo straight to Facebook if you wanted to, and it's going to be in 360. Not only that, but you can see that the stitching is really smooth. That's because GoPro MAX uses D-Warp. So for photos, GoPro MAX does have real-time stitching. But what about videos? GoPro MAX has three modes for shooting video. Number one is the hero mode, which is a non-360 mode. Number two is a 360 video mode. And number three is a vlogging mode. So here's a sample hero non-360 video. You can see that the video is stabilized, but the stabilization isn't as good as, let's say, the stabilization from the Insta360 One X or the GoPro Fusion. That's because in hero mode, GoPro MAX uses only one lens. A lot of you have asked, if it's using only one lens in hero mode, then why does it need to stitch at all? It's not stitching technically because, like you said, it's only one lens, but this circular fisheye still has to be converted into a rectilinear format so it's not distorted, and then it has to be stabilized and cropped into the aspect ratio that you want. So there's still some processing going on. So with the GoPro MAX, however, this is all done in the camera. So you'll be able to take your video straight out of the camera, and it's going to be stabilized, and it's already in 16:9 or in 4/3 aspect ratio, ready for you to upload to YouTube or Facebook or your preferred social media. Now, what about 360 video? Recently, Abe Kislevitz, the senior creative director for GoPro, posted a video that shows the workflow for GoPro MAX.
What's up guys, this is Abe Kislevitz, and today I'm going to give you a sneak peek demo of reframing 360 shots using the GoPro app for the new GoPro MAX.
Besides showing how to use keyframing for the new GoPro app, Abe's video also shows the video quality and stabilization of the Max. In addition, Abe seems to confirm that GoPro MAX has real-time stitching in camera.
The difference between Max and Fusion here is the Max will already be stitched directly in the camera, and you Fusion owners know that you have to do the standard stitching on the GoPro Fusion Studio.
But now we have an actual file, and that's not exactly 100% the way that we expect. See, here's a 360 file from the GoPro MAX, and you can see that the extension is .360, which is a proprietary extension. It's not like MP4. That's really important because that means that you cannot simply upload straight out from the camera and directly onto YouTube or Facebook or those other websites, which is what we wanted with the real-time stitching with stabilization. You also won't be able to edit it directly, not with regular editors like Premiere or Final Cut. They won't recognize this format. I did some playing around with the file, and I noticed that you could actually change the extension from 360 to MP4. When I change the extension to MP4, it will play back, but the video will look stretched, and I can see only half of the video. It seems that the other half is hidden and embedded as metadata. But if I apply a cubemap projection, it looks more normal. Now there is still some distortion though, which might mean that GoPro is using a different type of cubemap projection, such as an equiangular cubemap, which can have more detail in the middle of the video compared to the standard equirectangular projection. Anyway, we can see that the video looks detailed and has pleasant colors and contrast, but it doesn't seem stabilized, and the stitching looks very rough. Now in Abe Kislevitz's tutorial, the video looked stabilized and had smooth stitching. So what's going on? Here's what I think is happening. This video file is an unstitched file, but when you load it in their app, it looks stitched and it looks stabilized. And you can edit your video in 360 or non-360. But in order to upload it to Facebook or YouTube or other sites, you have to export it from that app first. So FYI, this approach is exactly the same as the approach used by Insta360. One difference though is that with Insta360 One X, you can edit the 360 video on Premiere Pro without stitching the video beforehand. With GoPro MAX, you will need to stitch the 360 video first. We also don't know if Max will require a graphics card to stitch it full resolution, just like the GoPro Fusion. There is going to be a new camera. I'm currently under NDA, so here's what I can tell you about it. It's a camera that will be very competitive with the GoPro MAX. I cannot tell you why. I've seen the specs and I know what it can do. I just can't tell you the details. But I can tell you it is competitive with the GoPro MAX. This new camera is not going to be like super expensive like Insta360 Titan, like you can't afford it. This is going to be kind of like a consumer level camera. So who's this camera from? Is it from Insta360? No, it's from a camera company called Kandao. Kandao is a recognized 360 camera company. They have cameras that are both professional as well as consumer cameras. They have a lot of innovations. For example, their consumer camera, the Kandao QCam, was the first one to feature a hybrid 360 and VR 180 mode. Kandao also pioneered an image stacking technology without ghosting called RAW Plus for exceptional image quality. Check out these amazing shots from the QCam by Yuqing Guo using Kandao RAW Plus and DNG8 RAW Burst mode. What's cool is that Kandao allows you to use RAW Plus on any camera that supports RAW. I'll post a link to the tutorial by Yuqing in the description below. So this new camera is going to be launched on November 7. So I'm going to Beijing in China for its launch. Another vlogger who will be there is my friend Hugh Ho from Creator Up. So be sure to watch his channel. So I'm really excited to see this camera and to show it to you guys. So if you want to learn more about the GoPro MAX and this new camera, be sure to hit subscribe. And I'll see you in 360.